What I want to do now is talk about how to compare integers. We're going to see which ones are greater, which ones are less. This is also how we would list them in order. And so I went ahead and drawn a number line with the integers from -10 to 10 on it. Why don't you go ahead and pause the video and do the same, and then you can restart it. Okay, now that you've got this number lines are so important when we talk about positive and negative integers. Let's remember our word integers, that what it actually means is it is numbers. It's the whole numbers, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to infinity, and their opposites, which are the negative numbers, like -1, -2, -3, -4, all the way down to negative infinity. It does not include fractions, so integers can be whole numbers or the opposite, or we would say the negative of a whole number. And so we're going to talk about how to compare them. And our comparison signs, of course, are the greater than sign and the less than sign. And so, for example, let me write down problem A. Problem A, we're going to compare the integers 3 and 5. And since there's no sign written, then we know that they're both going to be positive. Now let me go put these on the number line. And what you'll see is there's an easy way. Obviously, you know that we're going to say 3 is less than 5. But let's go ahead and put them on the number line so we can get in the habit of plotting them, because we're going to actually learn that whether we're dealing with positive or negative numbers, the greater number is always to the right and the lesser number is always to the left. So what we see on here is 3 is to the left of 5, which means that 3 is less than 5. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at problem B then. Problem B, we're going to compare 3 and -5. So let me go ahead first and take my 5 off and replace it with a -5. Okay, so this time we're going to compare the numbers 3 and -5. And this time what we'll notice is that the 3 is actually to the right, which means it is larger. And so if we want to think of the less than and equal sign as an alligator, we always say the alligator eats the larger number. 3 is greater than -5. Now let's try this one. Let's go ahead and try problem C. For C, we're going to compare -3 and 5. So let me not erase on here, but I'll just switch over to blue now. -3 is right here, and +5 is right here. And so I clearly can tell in this that -3 is to the left, and so it is less than. -3 is less than 5. The last way I can compare 3 and 5 would be if I compared -3 and -5. And of course, -3 is right here where this blue dot is, and -5 is right here where this pink dot is. Well, since -3 is to the right, it's actually the larger number. Now this is where it confuses people sometimes, because we know that 3 is less than 5, but actually -5 is more less than 0 than -3 is. So even though it has a greater absolute value, its actual value is less. It's -3 is greater than -5. And if you ever get confused on this, just draw a number line and always know that the number to the right is the greater number. And so let me give you 3 to try on your own. And only one of these can be plotted on the number line. I want you to compare -9 and -6. I want you to compare -12 and -14. Compare 20 with -30. And on A, compare 15 and -15. Now I believe you can probably do the last 3 without using a number line, but if you need to, you can always extend your number line. Remember that just because we stopped at -10 and +10, it actually goes from -infinity to +infinity. So go ahead, pause the video, answer these questions, and then check, and we'll see if we have the same answers. Okay, now that you've had a chance to do that, let's check and see what those answers were. So first of all, -9 and -6, we should have recognized that -9 is way on the left of our number line, and number 6 is actually to the right. So -6 is the larger number, so -9 is less than -6. If our number line were to extend, we'd find that we'd have to go further to get to -14 than -12. So -12 is actually the greater of those two numbers. If we're dealing with two negative numbers, I'm sure most of you have noticed this already. the number with the larger absolute value is actually less when we're dealing with negative numbers. For G, positive 20 and negative 30, positive numbers are to the right of 0, negatives are to the left, and so positive numbers are always greater. 20 is greater than negative 30. And for H, it's the same with 15 and negative 15. Even though their absolute values are equal, 15 is actually much larger than negative 15.